It's the HoopWise Podcast from New England Basketball Journal, a comprehensive look at the basketball landscape in New England, tracking prospects, recruiting, college, and more, with your hosts, Steve Hewitt and Ethan Fuller.
Welcome into another episode of the HoopWise Podcast. We are part of New England Basketball Journal. My name's Ethan Fuller. I'm joined, as always, by Steve Hewitt. Steve, I gotta flex. We keep crushing the guest list. I am so excited to have among two of the best active college basketball players from our region here. Two teammates on Duke. They just reached the Sweet 16 in March Madness this past year. Oluchi Okananwa and Taina Mair. Thank you both for joining us. Quick question to start things off. Yeah, there's big round of applause for both you guys.
Probably the biggest crowd.
Yeah, well deserved.
Plato, right?
Just quick, I'll start, Oluchi, and then Taina, you can answer this too. Basic question, how has your school year been so far? Does it feel easier just getting back into student life now that this is your second year at Duke?
I mean, the difference is night and day, honestly. Like, just being a sophomore, having a year under my belt, I know everything. I know how she likes everything. So, honestly, it's just been so much smoother than freshman year.
That's awesome. Yeah, go ahead, Tina.
For me, it's kind of been like a ongoing sale for me. You know, it's my third year of college, so it's been pretty good. You know, I got school good. You know, and basketball's going pretty good. So no complaints for me. Yeah.
Let's go. That's great. So yeah, quick intro for anyone who is listening who somehow does not know about these two yet. Taina Mair from Fields Corner in Dorchester. She played at Brooks and Holderness, won 3 NEPSAC titles in 3 years. I remember that was the big stat that you were really proud of. Coached by Yasharna Stroud on Mass Rivals, same with Oluchi. Taina went to BC her freshman year, all ACC freshman, second in BC history with 217 assists in a season. Then comes to Duke, starts every game last year, leads the team in assists and steals and minutes. Just a great transfer season for Taina. And then Oluchi from Peabody, she was NEPSAC Class AA Player of the Year at Worcester Academy. Comes to Duke and is only the ACC 6th Player of the Year in her first season. Played all 34 games, averaged 21 minutes per game off the bench. Just fantastic impact from both of these players immediately. I want to start with March Madness. It was obviously incredible. I remember watching the comeback win against Ohio State, which was huge. Just from that entire experience, whether it's a game or a moment outside of any of those games, what do you remember most just from being on that stage for the first time? Yeah, Oluchi, you can start. Yeah.
Sorry. So you said during March Madness or just the whole season in general?
We'll start March Madness specific, and then we can zoom out. Yeah.
No. March Madness, I mean, obviously, just being a freshman, that's something that you dream about the moment you decide that you want to play college basketball. So for me, I think my moment had to have been that comeback win at Ohio State. Like, that was just so special, not just for me, but for us and our team, because, you know, we were 7th seed, Ohio was 2nd. So a lot of people did not think that we're going to pull it through with that win. So, I mean, after the buzzer, we just erupted and we went crazy and we looked crazy, but we didn't care because in like my first year, I'm going to the Sweet 16. So I couldn't have asked for something sweeter than that.
Yeah. What about you, Taina?
Yeah, definitely the same moment which you talked about. I mean, especially when Reagan Richardson, she went off for 28 points. I mean, like, she was basically unstoppable that game. So just being her teammate and seeing her lock into a different mode that I never seen her in, it was something incredible. But as a team, like, we just stuck together through that. And I think it was incredible to see, like, how tight-knit of a group, how tight we just got in that moment in order to, you know, it took everybody, it took everything we had. And especially at Ohio State with the crowd. I mean, it was loud. It was sold out. We couldn't ask for a better upset.
Exactly.
Oluchi, you kind of touched on it, but talking about being the 7th seed, going against the 2, no one really believed in you guys. Was that something you guys talked about going in? Like, kind of a chip on your shoulder? Like, what was sort of the, I guess, approach? What was Kara kind of saying to you guys going into that kind of environment?
I mean, one thing that Coach harps on a lot with us is to ignore the outside noise. So honestly, we weren't even thinking about that. We were just going in thinking of this because for us, any game we play, we're giving our all. Any game we play, it doesn't matter what team we're up against, even if it's a supposed weaker team, a team stronger than us. Like each time we step out on the court, we're giving our all. So really, her mindset for us was just go out and like be who we know we can be. Like just go out, play, leave it all on the court, and we'll see the results from there. So,
and you played. We can kind of start to zoom out on the season a little bit, but including March Madness, you play against J.C. Sheldon, 5th overall pick in the WNBA draft a couple of weeks later. You play South Carolina, obviously a ridiculous team. You play Stanford with Cameron Brink. You play in the ACC with some of these unbelievable guards that just throughout the conference. And yeah, I'll go to Taina first, but do you have a favorite or toughest, however you want to describe it, matchup from last year that you really remember?
Matchup. I don't really think about anybody in particular, but I think like as a team, probably the South Carolina game. I think for us it was a really big game. Obviously it was on national television and everything, and we fought hard as a team. So I think as a team, like it was definitely a great matchup for everybody at every position. Yeah. So that one was definitely the most memorable for me.
Yeah. What about you, Oluchi?
That's a good one. I would say the UConn game, actually.
Okay.
Despite how personally, which we all can agree, that we did not like the way we personally looked, like definitely we could have put out a better performance, of course, but that's just us being hard on ourselves. But I think just for that atmosphere, which, Sweet 16 up against Paige Beckers leading UConn, for us to make the comeback that we did shows to like the character of our team, which is that, it doesn't matter how many points we're down, we're going to keep fighting. We are never going to stop until buzzer ends, And for us to really cut down that huge lead that they had on us, really, I hope showed others like what our team is about and what we're also going to be bringing this year. I'm excited about.
Yeah, because you were a pretty young team last year, and a lot of those pieces are back. Obviously, you two have another year of experience. Is there a confidence level that, like, hey, you made it to the Sweet 16 last year, and you were pretty young, and I don't know how many people expected you to get all the way there that quickly. Does that kind of give you confidence that your ceiling this year might even be higher than you initially thought?
I mean, I would definitely say a lot of confidence, especially for our freshmen like Oluchi, who played a lot and made a huge impact for our team and how we did last year. So I think the confidence within them, like we were young doing this, we have a year under our belt, we can go out there and be even better, you know? So for them, like mentally, I feel like it added that confidence, not into them, but also to our team.
And honestly, Coach says this often. She's been saying this often since preseason that nothing transfers over from last year. I mean, it was great. It was awesome. We made the Sweet 16, but we're owed nothing the start of this season. So we have to give it our all from the start.
Yeah, I think that's a good message. I know we both want to get into Kara and some of the presence that she brings to any program. I know Steve and I both have some questions about her. And so I wanted to ask first, because we both listened to Tina, you were on a podcast, I think Inside the Lines podcast, and you told the story about Kara with the game ball at BC. And for people who didn't, correct me if I'm explaining this wrong, but there was a game BC was going to play Duke, and it was going to be Duke's, I think, 1,000th program victory or something like that. And Kara Lawson, Duke coach, asks for the game ball before the game even starts. And I remember BC, they kind of use that as motivation, and we're like, okay, like, are you going to take that? And then Duke went out and dominated the game. And so that was kind of a big moment for you to kind of realize. So along with that,
a savage move.
Yeah, it's a pretty savage move. What are either of your two, just off the top of your head, favorite Kara Lawson stories that just show like how much of a competitor she really is? And I guess Oluchi, you can start, and then Tina, if you have another one.
I mean, I have a lot. Hmm. Favorite Kara Lawson moment.
Doesn't have to be a favorite. Any one that you like.
You go first, 'cause I have to think.
I would just say it's like a story, but it's something that she just does like in practice. Like let's look, we're doing like a certain drill or some, and somebody like messes it up, or like is not making like a certain read. She'll take off her hoodie
Yeah.
and she'll go in and start playing bad, like just
Yeah,
start
that's
moving. And
true.
she'll really
Yes,
into it. So yeah.
She'll literally be like, "I'll show you guys myself."
Yeah, like how it's done. So she'll get up there and go up there and do the move, shoot it, or do the layup, and then she'll like
Yeah.
just that's the shot, you know.
That's awesome. Dang. Do you have one? Yeah.
Training ones, because we all have position coaches.
Mhm.
And even for some of those trainings, she'll literally jump in and like want to be a part of it. So that's cool. That's
Yeah.
funny and cool, you know, to have a coach that, you know, she's still a hooper. So
Yeah.
Is she like? I feel like we see from the outside, just like some of the videos of her talking to the team or what you just explained, kind of intense. She seems from the outside. Is she like kind of always like that, or does she like mellow out a little bit? How would she kind of maybe help you off the court, or just in your everyday lives, or just going through college life? Like how is she? Or is she just always just like that intense kind of coach?
and there's definitely a lot of preconceived notions about her.
Yeah.
One, off the top of my head, off the court, she is so approachable.
Mm.
Like we could go up to her office, knock on her door, and like have like an hour-long conversation. So she is like on court, she's intense, but in a way that's to push us. You know, it's never a her versus us. It's us working together to one common goal, you know. So that's what I can say about the intensity. And I love that. I mean, I don't want to speak for T, but that's why we came here. We didn't come here to hold hands and, you know, dance around in a circle. Like she's gonna push us.
Yeah, and Kara, she's also very passionate,
Yeah,
like personally
very
off the court about like anything. Like family's very passionate to her, school's very passionate to her. Like everything besides basketball, she's really passionate about. So that's where like Oluchi talked about the conversation. Like you can have a conversation with her for hours, you know, or it'll go by like this. Yeah. So she's very caring, she's very nice, and she's very passionate.
That's
But I think that really like shows
It
kind of
does
like
it.
on the court.
Like,
It
I
does really
promise you, like
show,
no one's
yeah.
like holding anything up behind the screen. Like we're just
Yeah.
being honest.
That
For sure.
That was one thing I wanted to ask too, because I've listened to, I think both of you talked about this, that her speeches, which again, like she just has great messaging all the time. They're not planned, and it's not like she's reading off a paper or anything. It just comes to her somehow. So, do either of you, either one, if you have an immediate answer, can go ahead, have or remember a time where she gave out a message that was particularly impactful for you?
I mean, I'll say this, like we are around her like basically every day. So we're kind of more used to it, and like we're like, oh, this is coach like giving an inspirational message. You know, this is just normal 11 o'clock, you know.
Sure.
But for me, I would say a big one that she preached that really resonated with me was that um no one should have the power over your confidence. Basically, she was just saying nothing I say or do should ever diminish your confidence or take away from you believing in yourself and what you can do on the court. So I love that one, especially being a freshman, you know, making mistakes, getting down on yourself, and maybe her even getting on you. That was just a good reminder that, you know, she's not doing it because she wants us to believe in ourselves less. She's like doing it so we can be better.
That's a good one. Yeah, I think we can. Kind of the last general question about Duke, and Steve, you can add any more if you want. But what do you think was your biggest lesson learned about being a college student athlete? And I guess I'll start with Oluchi because it was your freshman year. I know, Tina, you had a year under your belt, but what did you kind of have to experience to really understand, like, this is what life is like?
Time management. Like that is the biggest for anyone, any freshman coming in to be a student athlete at college, the college level. You need to have self-discipline as well as time management skills because I mean, it's so much. And if you're not on top of it, it's going to feel like a lot and it's going to feel like you're walking with rocks on your shoulders every single day, you know? So I think that's the biggest thing I learned. And I'm so happy I learned it because now life's a breeze, you know?
That's great. Did anything significantly change for you, Tina, as far as learning that lesson at Duke versus BC, or is it just like they're good schools and you were kind of ready for it?
Yeah, I feel like my transition to Duke, I mean, at BC, I definitely learned, how to have time management, discipline, just like Oluchi said. So I feel like I kind of learned that my freshman year as well. But coming to Duke, kind of like about like my own self as like a human is to like grow beyond basketball in a way, like kind of like mature into like my adult like life and body, so just like being able to grow as a human being like outside of basketball.
Hmm.
So, like basketball's been my life for like 10 years, like 10 years. So yeah, like just being able to grow outside of that.
It's a good answer.
I wanted to ask, I know this is like a year ago now, Jayson Tatum came to visit you guys. And I'm curious because at this time last year, I was covering the Celtics. So that was something I saw. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. What was that like for you guys? Obviously, as being from Massachusetts, what kind of stood out to you about him coming to visit, and what kind of stuck out about that experience?
I'll let T answer this because I know she's itching to
Yeah.
answer.
I'm like the most diehard Celtics fan. So when I saw
Yeah.
it through the door, I was like, oh man, like I have to seize this moment with him. I told him like this is I literally told him like this is our year. Like we gonna you're gonna bring a championship to Boston. Like the keys are yours. He has the keys to the city. And yeah, I mean I'll never forget that moment. I would say I was starstruck a little bit. He walks with a lot of confidence. Like and especially when he came back to Duke, he was giving back. He gave back some knowledge and some pointers out to us. So. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a great moment for me. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It was so cool. I mean, we had heard that he was around because he was scrimmaging against the boys, and we were like, there's no way he's not going to come and see us, especially with coach having that connection, having been a coach at the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, it was awesome to see him, awesome to talk to him. I mean, we talked about like places in Mass, so it was cool to really have that connection, like, really all from the same state. And even cooler was on break, we went to go and see the playoff game with coach. So
Wow.
Okay. Which game was that?
I think it was game 2 against Cleveland.
Okay.
How was it watching your coach be a fan, like kind of at her former job too? What was it like being with her for that?
It was pretty dope. I mean, we had to keep a level of professionalism when we were with her. Definitely fangirling, yeah.
yeah. I mean, like, yeah, we were actually in a box. So
Okay.
really cool. I mean, those are just some normal when your coach is Kara Lawson experiences that you just go through. So it's kind of get used, you know.
Does she bring up anything from that season she was with the Celtics with you guys? Like any sort of like, does she bring up sort of some experiences of that season, like during practices or when she's talking to you guys? Like how much does that maybe come up?
Like what she does bring their conditioning drill.
Okay.
What does that mean?
64s. It was a conditioning drill that we all had to do and accomplish, which is 10 down and backs, and then you get a rest, then you do it. You get a 2-minute rest, do it again, 2-minute rest, do it again, and then basically you run for a total of 4 times. And that was Celtics conditioning drill. So it was nice to experience it. Well, I mean, I think they do the full 5, but we did 4.
Okay.
Gotcha. That's impressive. Dang.
I don't want to think about that.
Yeah. Wow. So I think we want to get into, as we had kind of mentioned before, your journey to getting to Duke, and especially given we cover New England, kind of how you got to there through your New England kind of upbringing. I wanted to start actually with rankings because this is, and I want to start with Tina because I think I've been on this podcast saying this. I watched you in your senior year at Brooks, and I could not understand how the player who, I'm not even trying to hype you up too much. Like I genuinely was like, I think you're the best player in NEPSAC right now. How are you not ranked or anything? And now that you're a couple years removed, in all honesty, like, did that ever actually bother you, or were you genuinely like, no, I don't, like, this really isn't something that matters to me?
It did bother me a little bit. Well, only because, like, you know, like growing up, you always want like the national recognition. You know, like you always see your name like next to a number, like, yeah, like that's me. You know, and I never like had that. But like, even though like, you know, like Coach Yu, like she was like, see, like none of that matters. Like you get to call, and nobody cares about rankings anymore. A ranking is not on scatter report. They don't sit at the game. They don't announce it before you get on court. Like none of that. So like I just started to like just leave it alone. But it definitely did a little bit.
And then Oluchi, for you, and I want to get into this kind of magical summer that I've learned about as being the summer where you went from being on college radars for sure, but then immediately jumping to, I believe it was 27 is where you ended up getting ranked, and then eventually getting offered by a ton of more programs and committing to Duke after that. What was that summer like for you? And did you feel things tangibly change for you, or was it more just like, oh, all of a sudden all this stuff is here?
I mean, it's kind of like doing a lot of work for years for like your 10-minute reward. You know what I mean? Like, I knew that if I just stuck with it, stuck to my routine, stuck to producing, eventually I was going to have an outbreak and I was going to see the results I was going to see. I mean, that was a special summer with a special program. I mean, our AU program with Coach Yu. We went 40-5 that summer. So that just kind of shows where all our heads are at, which was, you know, like, we don't care who's ranked on these teams. You don't care where they're going. We're just going to go out and play our best and play our hardest because we know when we do, we're going to beat it. So,
yeah. What do you think? And Oluchi, you can start, and then Tina, I want to hear what you have to say too. Just the biggest lesson that you each learned about kind of recruiting and what goes into it, and putting yourself where you need to be and putting yourself in the right spot and doing all this work that you think the next kind of Oluchi Okananwa or Taina Mair would want to know. If you could have had that insight, what would you have told them?
I think I would tell them, it kind of sounds a little surface level, but honestly, go with your gut. I can't really describe how with the Duke, when I got to campus, I knew. But actually what makes it funny is I told Coach this when I was leaving for my official. I was like, I need 48 hours because either the magic's gonna wear off and I'm gonna be like, or it's still gonna be there and I'm still gonna have that feeling of, no, this is my place. And I did, you know, so it is. And I this was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. So I'm so happy about that.
Yeah. What about you, Taina?
I would definitely say that you're gonna end up where you dreamed of being, for sure. Because you know, obviously, like I went to BC, and I would say like I was under recruited. And you know, obviously I went to BC, and I had a great freshman year. And transferring like really wasn't in my mind at all. You know, I was happy where I was at and everything, but there's always something in me that's like you want better for yourself, like you want better, and that's when I made that decision. And I trusted God with my decision, and I ended up at Duke. And it was, like Oluchi said, the best decision I made. So yeah. So.
Awesome. I know Steve wanted to ask about this too, but when you think back about playing in NEPSAC and just the level of competition that each of you faced kind of night in, night out, what stuck out to you just about how that prepared you for getting to the college level?
How NEPSAC prepared us for college?
Yeah.
All right. I would say for my years in the NEPSAC, it was very competitive. There were a lot of great girls in the program. I mean, well in the league. And I think like just like that level of competition, like I knew these people I was playing against. Like I knew Oluchi. I knew that Oluchi was good. And it was like, all right, like it's time to go. Like you my friend, like off the court, on the court. No, it's time to battle it out. And that's definitely what it was. The competition in the NEPSAC, it was amazing. And especially like knowing these people like on another level, it's like, oh yeah, I want to beat you so that, you know, I could talk my stuff off the court, you know, like when I see you or during AAU practice, you know. So yeah, it was definitely it was very competitive.
Do each of you have a favorite matchup that you remember in the NEPSAC? Was there one girl that you always look forward to facing, or was there maybe a game that you remember that kind of sticks out in your memory? Oluchi, I'll start with you. If there's anything that kind of pops in your mind.
No, I hope T doesn't say what I think she's gonna say. But yeah, so you guys 30%.
Well,
Nice matchup. Her just didn't. But let me think. I mean, Nobles are always a good group to go against. You know, they always have a lot of good girls on that team, so it's always a good game. Tabor too. Tabor, same as well. Usually have good girls, strong competition. That was actually my last ever high school game against them. So.
Wow.
Okay. Taina, anything for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to say, shoot, I don't know why I'm forgetting this school, but we played them my championship game my senior year. Oh my God, how am I forgetting?
St. Luke's, right? Yeah.
Yes, we played them in the championship my sophomore year and senior year, and beat them both times. But yeah, I would definitely say those two games. It was definitely the most memorable for me.
I was there for the senior game, and that was, you guys were down a decent amount, and you took over. It was overtime. I think Mackenzie Nelson was on St. Luke's, and she had 45 in that game, and you had like, I think it was like 37 and like close to a triple double or something, and you won in overtime. That was one of the craziest games that I have covered at the high school level. And I wanted to ask too, because you were coached in NEPSAC and AAU by Coach U, and Oluchi, you were coaching AAU by Coach U. You Sharna Stroud, director at Rivals, and she's obviously, the track record is so impressive at this point with what she's done, but she will say herself, she's a really tough coach. How was that, and was that helpful for eventually when you are now being coached by Kara Lawson, who is also like a similarly tough coach?
Yes. Being coached by her definitely made the transition to college with Coach Lawson just, it was a breeze, you know what I mean? Because I think what she really taught me was the criticism is not personal. And in fact, you want your coach to be on you because that means that they care about you and that they want the best out of you. So that helped for sure transitioning to Duke.
Yeah, I would emphasize that like 10 times. You know, I met Coach Yu when I was in middle school, and she's coached me from middle school through high school, all throughout, you know, at every level. So I think with me being with her, like especially like she's a very hard coach, you know, like she trains us hard, she coaches us hard,
Yes.
but it's all because, you know, she wants to see us succeed at the end. You know, and I feel like her doing that, like although Karen and Coach Yu, they're both one of a kind coaches, and that way they're very similar with how they give criticism and how they want us to work, which is hard, toughness. They want to embed that in you. So I feel like those two similarities between the two definitely helped me.
Especially like both, I would say they really test your mental toughness, I think. And that's something that a lot of kids coming into college basketball can kind of forget is a huge aspect with the transition to college basketball, your mental toughness. So it was great having that kind of already been tested before I even got here.
That's a really good point. Yeah. I think that's most of what I wanted to ask. Did you have anything else? And then we'll throw it to Dave for full court press after.
I was wondering, do you either feel like kind of New England basketball as a whole kind of gone through it, and now you're playing at Duke and you know girls from all over the country? Does it feel like it's doesn't get the credit maybe it deserves? Maybe New England gets overlooked in some ways. Oluchi, I don't know if you have an answer for that, but obviously it probably won't get the same recognition as maybe some other bigger areas of the country. But New England, like some will say, NEPSAC's the best league in the country. Like, how do you kind of feel about that? Like, does New England maybe not get the rep it deserves?
It doesn't at all. I mean, kind of like Ethan said, the fact that T went through high school basketball and she was unranked, it just speaks for itself. Truly, it really does. Like this is something we've known, like both going through the same process of how overlooked we get and how we kind of have to put in twice as much work to get like half the recognition that a lot of these other states get. So, I mean, that's something we've known since forever.
How good does it feel? And I guess, Tina, you can answer this part. When you go out and succeed at the level you do and play on national TV and go to the Sweet 16, how much do you feel like you're representatives for this region when you're out in those moments?
Yeah, every time. I feel like I have like Boston on like the back of my on the back of my jersey every time I go out there and play. You know, I rep my city very hard. You know, Oluchi knows that. She knows that best. So I feel like every time I'm anywhere, I represent not only myself, my school, my family, but also where I'm from.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Bobby Moran, Director of Athletics at Thayer Academy. You know what? Experience matters, and Thayer Academy's professional coaching staff understands how to work with each student athlete to help them succeed. Our coaches and faculty are committed to ensuring both 5th to 12th graders feel known, connected, and prepared. This is Thayer's secret sauce, nurturing each student to reach their full potential. Here, success is truly a team sport. Are you ready for your child to take the next step? See what Thayer has to offer at thayer.org. That's THAYER.org.
Are you serious about playing your sport in college? Do you need a flexible education that allows you to maintain your practice and competition schedules while also preparing you to succeed at the next level? You should check out the University of Nebraska High School. UNHS is accredited and offers more than 100 online courses, including NCAA-approved courses to protect your academic eligibility. Students could earn a UNHS diploma or take a single course for transfer credit. Courses are college prep, self-paced, and available 24/7, 365. Enroll anytime and take up to a year to complete a course. Visit highschool.nebraska.edu today.
Full court press.
All right, yes, welcome back to Full Court Press, where all of our panelists get 3 random questions drawn, which have been hermetically sealed in this mayonnaise jar I keep behind the production desk here at the Siemens Media. First question, let's see. Okay, first question, what is the best thing to eat at a basketball game? If you're a spectator, not a player. So you're in the stands at a basketball game, what's your favorite go-to snack, meal, whatever? Oluchi, why don't you take that one first?
Okay.
What? We didn't hear you.
Hot dog,
Okay.
There we go.
What do you put on the hot dog?
ketchup.
Whoa. Don't tell them that in the Midwest. They'll
What's wrong with
slay
that?
you for.
That's my move too.
In Chicago, they don't allow it for some reason.
Okay.
But I'm with you. I do ketchup and mustard. I used to be a ketchup guy. Taina, your answer, please.
100% hot dog.
Hot dog. What are you putting on your hot dog?
Ketchup. That's it.
Really?
It's gotta be a New England thing.
All right, Ethan.
Together, we both got a hot dog, and then I ate the rest. They were really big.
It was a foot long, as they say. Okay.
Yeah.
Ethan, what's yours?
I mean, I get a hot dog, but if I'm not getting that, TD Garden has these really good. Oh, I don't remember the company that they're affiliated with, but the long pizza. The
Oh, yeah.
Sal's.
Oh, it's Sal's.
Yeah.
That pizza's really good.
Yeah, they're really skinny, which makes them a little easier to eat.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
good entry.
It's what, like $15 a slice there or something?
Yeah. You get half a slice for 50. Steve.
I'm going to go with chicken tenders and fries.
Whoa, interesting.
I was at the Red Sox game last night. That's what I got. But that's usually my go-to at any sporting event.
And are you 9 years old? No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Young at heart.
You can't be chicken tenders and fries. All right. Question number 2. Other than Duke, who has the best uniforms in college basketball?
Ooh.
Okay.
And we'll let the Dukies think about this one for a minute. And Ethan, you want to go first on this one? Best unis.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to go, oh man, college basketball. I'm trying to think of teams at the top. I really like USC. I like their colors, and I'll say Oregon too.
Oh,
I
I
think
took mine.
I think Oregon's
Really?
green and yellows. It's just like different. It's different from a lot of other ones. I like
Yeah,
those.
you just know
The Ducks.
who Oregon is when
they
have those.
Yeah,
uniforms
it's
on.
recognizable.
Yeah, recognizable because they're kind of ugly.
Okay, dang.
But who says I have any taste? Steve, do you want to add another one, or are you sticking with it?
I like UCLA. I like the blue and yellow. I like
That blue really pops.
Yeah, I like that color wave.
Sure.
I'm a little biased. I went to UMass. I love those like old school throwback like UMass uniforms from like the 90s.
Sure.
With like the Marcus Camby. Those always hit for me.
I feel so old. I can't believe old school is Marcus Camby. Old school is Julius Erving, who played at the
Yep.
University of Massachusetts. All right.
Yep.
Taina, you're next. Favorite unis other than Duke?
Go with the Duke black jersey.
Oh, come on!
No, but those are sick. The alternates are really good. Yeah, I know that's a cop out, but that's a good answer. That's a good answer.
Oh, man. Okay, so Oluchi, I don't know how you're going to play this one, but
What I'd say is the men's Duke better.
wow.
All right.
Wow.
Well
they
played.
They bleed Duke blue. Well played. Well played.
Yeah.
You've won this battle, ladies. All right. Final question for Full Court Press. Tell us your first memory of watching a basketball game, and it could be the pro or college, but the first game you watched, either in person or on TV, that you just kind of fell in love with the game. Oluchi, why don't you take that one first?
High school or college?
Yeah, it could be anything. Yeah.
The first game I watched, that's a tough one.
I mean, it could have been a Celtics game, could have been NBA Finals, could have been WNBA Finals. I don't know.
I would actually, the game that I watched that kind of made me fall in love was actually high school.
Okay, yeah. Tell us
Oh.
about it.
So I went to Higgins Middle School, which is just the middle school in Peabody, Massachusetts.
Mhm.
And we were watching the girls, like the high school girls. And I kind of watched that game, and I was like, I'm gonna be on the varsity team,
Nice.
And freshman year I was, so it was good.
Wow, that's cool.
Great answer. Fantastic answer. Taina?
For me, it would have to be. I don't remember the exact game, but I know Kevin Durant was on the OKC Thunder. Everybody who knows me knows Kevin Durant's my favorite player all the
Yes.
time. I love the way he plays basketball, everything. I love everything about it. So it was definitely when KD was on OKC and he was just hooping. I don't remember the exact game, but I know he was in an OKC jersey.
Wow. That's a great one. By the way, before we end the segment, I should mention that I was the captain of the Milton Academy basketball team in 1986, leading the team to a 6-12 record. And,
no.
We lost to both of your schools. I can tell you that. Steve, first basketball memory.
This is such a random poll, but I think it was the 1999 Eastern Conference Finals when Larry Johnson of the Knicks made a 4-point play.
Oh, yeah.
You can go on YouTube and find it. I watch it every now and then. But I remember vividly being like 7-year-old Steve in like the kitchen of my parents' house on like this really small TV that we had in the kitchen, watching that and being like, oh, that was cool.
That's the kind of thing that amazes a 7-year-old, and he has to tell his parents, he got 4 points on one play.
Yeah.
Larry Johnson was an unlikely sort of media darling. He had these ads on Nike where he actually portrayed his own grandma dunking a basketball. That's why some people called him Grandmama. I'm not making this up. You guys, it's before your time, but you guys could look it up. You can YouTube it. All right, Ethan, final question there.
I'm going to go, I think really fall in love were again, this is not a specific answer, but the Big Three era Celtics versus like the start of the LeBron Heat. Those playoff series were awesome. And so...
Excuse me, the Big Three...
What was that, like 2012?
Yeah, that was...
Okay, so you're saying the Big Three are Garnett, Allen, and Pierce.
Yeah.
There was a Big Three before that, All right, all you kids on the podcast, all 4 of you guys, sit down. I'm going to tell you a story about a guy named Larry Bird. Maybe you've heard of him. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't mean to yuck your yum.
No, that was kind of it. I just, like, both of those teams were really good, and the rivalry, I feel like, was really strong then between Celtics and LeBron, and so those series are really fun. Yeah.
One playoff game, LeBron actually dropped to the Celtics. There was this moment where he's heading out of the arena, and there's one Cavs fan. He had lost. They lost the Celtics in this particular game. There's one Cavs fan who was probably like 11 years old, and he kept screaming, "Good game, good effort. Good game, good effort."
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
And I think that pissed LeBron off because they ended up winning that series. Anyway, terrific job on Full Court Press, all of you guys. And back to you, Ethan, to wrap things up.
Yeah, all right. I think that's everything we had. Thank you both for taking time out of your busy schedules. I know, at least, Taina, you have class pretty soon, and Oluchi, I'm sure you have it also pretty soon. Thank you for doing this. We are really excited to watch you in the upcoming season. And yeah, that'll do it for us. So for Steve Hewitt and Dave Yass, I'm Ethan Fuller. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.